what's behind. Psycho! It's the Weird Science DC Comics Absolute DC Show. It's the Weird Science DC Comics Absolute DC Show. So let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Absolute DC Comics podcast / YouTube video thingy. I'm here with my man, Gray. What up, Gray?
What up, Jim? Dare I ask, are you geeky?
Yeah, no. And we talked earlier,
I'm not asking,
way earlier.
I'm giving up.
Yeah, we talked like 12 hours ago. We were talking some Grant Morrison stuff that I ended up getting a little ganky by the end of that. But we're here to talk DC and Absolute stuff. In the meantime, I did record all day and didn't like much of what came out this week and started yelling a lot.
Oh, no.
So, luckily, though, I think that these books will be a little bit of a reprieve. We are going to talk Batman, which we missed last week because Japan has a festival for everything. And they had a sports festival.
It was work. I can't help it.
Were you having
Sometimes
some sporty
stuff?
Did you have some fun sporty stuff? Did you?
We did.
Did you play some games?
I was mainly just cheering
around?
on the students, yeah. But they take it pretty seriously here, Jim. There's none of this like, oh, we can't have any losers. It's like, come on, win at all costs.
So is it like field day? That's what we used to call
Basically,
it.
Is that what you call it in the States?
That's what we used to call
day.
it. I don't even know if they have it anymore because, again, they don't want kids to get hurt or compete ever. But
That's
I took it seriously. Holy moly. I ended up where I would just, bowl through anybody. I wanted whatever award they were going to give, I was in. I ended up taking it very seriously. I remember at one point when we'd play things in gym class, we were playing hockey, and I played hockey, so I was all, fired up. And at one point, it was like co-ed, and we ended up having, girls and boys. And we were told beforehand, hey, guys, and I realized how much of an asshole I was because they give the speech like, hey, guys, we're going to do co-ed. Everybody settle down. Don't get too excited. And then the gym teacher goes, that means you, Jim. Like, don't get too fired up. And I'm like, whatever. He was also he was a coach in a lot of the sports I played. Guy was a jerk. But I ended up where I was going and I was trying to get around this one girl who happened to be Asian. This is the tie-in of it. And I tried to hurdle her like Saquon Barkley. Unfortunately, my junk kind of hit her in the face. And that was the best day of my life ever.
What are you saying?
Class. It was the best.
Showing off the size of your junk?
I just tried to leap over. I was actually going to just leap over. I didn't quite get there. But there you go. I'm sure that there's some people who are mad that we've spent 3 minutes now talking about gym class and junk. But we do have these two books going. Again, a big week, I think, for comics with the whole Deadpool Batman deal. And if you do listen to our podcast, that is actually going to be on our DC show, not our Marvel show. I ended up talking about that today and screaming and yelling, but here we go. We're going to start with the Batmans. We're going to go with the Absolute Batman first. We ended up missing that last week. If you want to know where the Absolute Green Lantern is, it's in the dustbin, as they say in Britain. I don't think we talked about that. We might be done with that piece of crap book. I just don't like it. But here we go, and we're going to be doing this here. And again, this is your favorite book. This Absolute Batman, I hear you want to marry it, is what I heard. But it is part 4, Abomination. It is issue number 12 of Absolute Batman, written by Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta back on art, colors by Frank Martin, I'd like to say. Clayton Cole's on letters, and you have a list of editors as long as it is thick. You have Sabrina Fuchs, associate editor, Andrew Marino, editor, Katie Kubert, group editor, and then Chris Conroy, executive editor. They're all editing the crap out of this book. But this is a book that ends up where you'll have some flashbacks, you'll have some things, but the big thing is what happened to the Rogues Gallery, which in this book is the friends of Batman, of Bruce Wayne. And boy, they didn't get they're worse for wear. They didn't get the long end of the stick here. They definitely got the short end, and it's pretty horrific. And you go with that idea of Batman creating his own villains. In the meantime, Batman's nonsense has made his, possibly his friends into villains, and maybe against him, it seems. I mean, they're a little off. And you had told me, I just read this today. I didn't even read it last week when it came out because we weren't going to record.
Really?
And I ended up seeing, like you said, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak stomach. It's pretty vicious, right? But you go with it.
Jim, do you have any problems with it? Because it was basically following on from the issue before last issue, wasn't it? Because we had that crazy what if issue where some people believe that was real, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names, but people thought that, oh yeah, Batman, his arms ripped off, his head smashed a pulp.
Yeah, that's absolute Batman, right? Yeah, he got fixed, all right. Yeah, so that was just a dupe. That was more Alfred telling him what might happen in the meantime. Yeah. You have a bunch of jumping back and forth, though, too. You end up having Selina and Bruce, and again, the big play here is going to be what happened to, say, Oswald and what happened to Whalen. All that is pretty vicious in your face. I don't know.
And Eddie,
in my mind,
friends.
Yeah. I don't really care about Selina and Bruce. I don't know why, but I just don't really care about them.
I didn't really get much from those little flashbacks.
No,
did you?
No,
apart from the
not
second
much
one
at
where
all.
it's kind of talking to the mob boss.
Yeah, even there when they're talking to Falcone and like, hey, we're gonna end up doing this, maybe throwing the fight. Hey, Falcone, what's up there, man? But you end up where they're gonna get this apartment. And again, they're like, hey, you're not allowed to have animals. Oh, we wouldn't dream of it. Cats, they're the worst. And I'm like, all right. It felt like a lot of wink winks. And it's here because by the end, Selina does show up because we haven't had her. But once we get to Bruce and he wakes up and he's like, man, what's going on? How long have I been out? He's been out 20 days, 20 days since you ended up having Alfred find him. And he ends up saying, like, yeah, I don't know what the hell they did to you because they did some really bad shit. Like, they really, took it to you. And also
it sounds
with the
permanent,
venom,
doesn't it? Like, they've left venom, like, it's downloaded into his spine and brain or something.
Yeah, and so with that, why not? The guy's 9 foot tall. Like, why not just venom this shit up? But again, he's there and he's like, I got to go see what's going on. I got to go. And he's like, hey, you're going to have to move out of the way. Alfred says, like, don't go. Like, don't do anything. You're done. Things have changed. You got to understand this. He's like, what I understand is you're getting the hell out of my way. And he goes off and he says, you're not the same, like you said. And as he's walking, you end up where all of a sudden he does get like a pain in his head from the stuff that was going, it looks like venom kind of going through whatnot. You also see this missing poster with him. We get it. But he goes to see his mom. And his mom, first off, goes, hey, Jim, is that you? And I wanted Bruce to be like, what does that mean? Like, what's going on with you and him?
Who's Jim?
Yeah, really. And he ends up where he's like, Bruce. And she comes and does, the typical deal. Like, oh, my God, you're safe. Slaps him, then hugs him again and says, oh, my God, I was so scared with what happened with Ozzy. And again, she doesn't continue. She might as well just go down the list of things. And he's like, what happened with Ozzy? This whole thing.
Hang on a minute, Ozzy?
Now, in the meantime, I did, because we start with the credits, there was at the beginning, too, where Batman was escaping, and he's trying to help Whalen, go and says, I'll find a cure for you. Whalen just wants to end it. He just says, pretty much take me out. I want to be cured in the way that's final. And Bruce can't do it. He can't do it. But Whalen's like, the hunger I have, I don't want to live like this. And you end up where Bruce is like, I can't do it. And then Whalen goes off as if like, oh, well, if you can't save me, then I'm going to be a villain of yours. I'm Killer Croc, off I go. And he ends up disappearing into the sewers, which is kind of crazy. But that's when Alfred ends up, finding him, and he's out for pretty much close to a month, 20 days. But you go from there because then this is just like, right down the list, laundry list of, oh, look what happened to Penguin. Look what happened with Tooth. They're all their villains now because of what
Did you get the feeling, Jim,
done.
This comes really fast as well, doesn't it? It's like bang, bang, bang. We don't really get any time to breathe. Yeah. At one point, I thought we were missing pages when we get the Eddie, the Riddler.
It is very quick.
Like,
and
Hey, is he in the hospital or is it somewhere else? It wasn't.
It seems somewhere else. It seems like where he's hanging, but you also mix in some flashbacks of stuff that I don't know that they were the greatest. I mean, the big thing is these friends of his are they're effed. I mean, you get Oswald, who's just like, I'm not seeing a penguin there. I'm seeing a blob. I mean, just look at his feet, like just
Disgusting
crazy.
blob.
And they ended up messing with him and making him shorter. That's pretty bad. And they're like, they broke every bone, but I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, he looks like a penguin now. He looks like just a wreck. He just looks like a blob. He's hooked
They've
up
made
in
him somehow, was it
machines.
2 feet shorter, Bane?
Yeah.
The way he broke him into little pieces almost.
Yeah.
2 feet shorter, Jim.
Man, that's crazy.
Almost as short as you.
Yeah, really. He almost is. I mean, I am only 1'3". But yeah, so Bruce goes in and you end up where he's allowed to go in to see Oswald. But I mean, what is he going to get from that? And then he's like, whack, with that deal when they even show Bane coming to get them and taking them down. Again, I think that the play is, for me, it's more horrific to just see them as they are. I don't need to see a half a page where Bane goes in an alley and then, hits them. I see that they're really screwed. And I think that kind of, in my mind, I think that that's a stronger deal than going and seeing, oh, here's these little panels of him just wailing on all of them. But Bruce doesn't know what to do. And you end up where Leslie Thompson, she's there and like, oh man, he's in constant pain. We don't know what's going to go. And by the way, he's like, hey, well, did Harvey come by to watch? What? Harvey? They didn't tell you? Look at him. And you just keep going down the line.
He's in the next room.
Yeah, he's in the next room. Like, what? No. He's in the next room. What? And you go in and he's, his face has been burned, half of his face, and half of his face crushed. And she says, like, when we found him, it was as if there were, 2 faces. The one was laying on the side. Now, did it look a little like the way that this goes? Did it look a little like John Romita Jr. art to you? Because it did in the face for me.
Initially, when he's in that bed,
I thought,
hospital bed with the bandages on.
Again, you see what happened. And I kind of just like it just to be like, oh man, just explain it a little and then let your imagination go. But when you see it, I think it lessens it a bit. But you then have, Harvey starts saying, I tried to fight, but he just crushed me.
He tried to protect Oswald, but it was too late. But Bane, like Jim, he does like what you call it? Some kind of wrestling move, a double-handed slap.
Yeah.
He just squashes Harvey's head.
I think he gives him the double-handed, smash a grape. That's what it is.
I can't believe he's still alive after that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've talked about it before. I don't know if he's even wrestling anymore, but the Great Khali was this huge wrestler. And me and Rafe loved wrestling, and we went. And the Great Khali, we were like on the runway deal, and the Great Khali put his hand on Rafe's head, and his hands were so huge that I actually had a panic attack. One of the only times I had a panic attack because he could have squashed his head. Like it looked like by accident. He could have just squashed his head. I freaked out. But you get that, and then you get this whole thing with Harvey. And he's like, remember Flass? Remember that guy? Like he'd always be one step ahead. And he'd always say, hey, you're going to end up, these friends of yours, but you're on the... I'm like, I don't need this. I got bored a bit with the storytelling of, hey, this guy. Because I thought what they were saying is, like, if it was that suddenly Flash had shown up and tried to save Harvey at the last second, like, man, he always knew what was going on, and he must have sensed we were in trouble. But no, he's just like, I got to find that guy. I gotta, see what he's up to. Like, he retired and whatnot, but I'm like, I don't really need this story with Flash.
Jim, what do you think as well about the casino chip?
Yeah, I don't like that either, because it's just so cheap,
that's
right?
going to become his coin, isn't it? It's like, I don't know, I felt a bit like,
I don't think it's
really?
that great. Yeah, I kind of like the whole play of them being his friends. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I see that, the way they're playing it is. That's what happens when you go out and be Batman and end up messing up and people figure it out and they go after your friends. I get it. But I kind of like them as the friends and kind of see how that plays. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Play it out.
Getting destroyed in the same issue in just a few pages. Yeah. You should have spent more time, like maybe done it an issue each with each one.
And even then, I mean, Whalen, they already had, so he was at the beginning too. So it's like 4 because, I mean, it would have been a cool play where Harvey, or Oswald actually, he gets all messed up, and then see what the others think of that and say, look what you did. What are you going to do? How are you going to, and then Bruce freaking out or whatnot. But you end up where Harvey then says, hey, I only hate you half of the time. And I'm like, okay, we get it. That felt like such a wink. Again, I think that this issue is decent enough, But I kind of ended up where I thought it was a bit heavy-handed and a bit rushed, like you said. Like some things happen here that I wish we had more time to kind of develop and whatnot.
I enjoyed it more like on the first read through when it was all fresh. It was just like, it's just like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, what is happening? But like with a bit of hindsight and rereading it, it's kind of like, yeah, it is a bit clunky. It is rushed.
And I think that one of the things too is having this wow moments over and over.
Yeah.
You duped us with them last issue. So, I mean, we have a lot of wow moments in the series. Last issue, they were like, hey, look, that was kind of a dupe. And, that whole play of Bruce not really getting destroyed. But then when you go into this, and then he's like, oh, my God, what about Eddie? And then he goes, and I'm like, he walks in, and he's like, thank God, Eddie, you're okay. I'm like, really? Are you blind?
Look okay.
Like I'm looking like you walk in and there's just shit hanging everywhere. There's tubes and stuff, and you can see that there's an exposed brain, and also what looks like head. Just cables going into it. And he's like, "Oh, thank God, Eddie, you're fine." I'm like, "No, you're not. He's not. Oh, okay." Almost plays off the Brainiac a bit in the Superman deal, but in the meantime,
I thought maybe he hurt you too.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm fine. Like, he didn't hurt me at all. I'm like, really? Like, he didn't? He's like, nope. He really showed me the way it is. It looks like, he's challenging me. Looks like he challenged you too, Bruce. I'm like, yeah, you got challenged, all right. You see him where Peter's just ripping out his eyes with his thumbs. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's horrific. But you have Eddie who thinks that he's now evolved. And he says, yeah, I just kept getting hit. And like, bang, suddenly facts became questions. Bang, questions everywhere, questions. I'm like, all right, we get it. Again, I think it's a little, this book is very, over the top anyway. So it's weird for me to say, it's weird for me to say, hey, this is heavy-handed.
Babies off boats.
But it almost felt like this issue with this, it's like there for the people who aren't liking it, because whenever somebody yells at me, in the comments or something like that, they'll say, oh, this is just big dumb Batman. It's just over the top. It's just, heavy-handed. It kind of is, but that's why we like it. So part of me is like, okay, it's going with the deal, but I don't know. These friends and the Rogues Gallery, I thought that was one of the more unique things about it, and I thought that was a pretty cool play to have this going. But again, you're just showing that Batman realizes that his little war on things is costing him his friends. And in the meantime, you're playing the trope of Batman creates his own villains. This is just a real effed up way that he ended up doing it. But you even have it.
It's also like laying the guilt, isn't it, on Bruce? Big time, It's all his fault. They're going to be blaming him. Even if they're not, he'll be blaming himself. So,
yeah. And even then, Eddie's there and it goes, ooh, looks like he challenged you too, Bruce. So riddle me this. I'm like, all right. Right, we get it.
What are you going to do about it? That's not a riddle.
Yeah, that's not a riddle. He's like,
well, Jim just got a shout out the art. It is a really good image, isn't it? It's freaky as hell.
Yeah,
he's terrifying.
Crazy. He definitely is.
Looks
that
awesome.
That art with Oswald was just horrendous.
Oh God, it's horrible.
But yeah,
what's he doing with his eyes? Like he's got a screwdriver. He keeps poking
he's
it
like
in his
doing
kind of
weird
goggles.
stuff because he don't have no eyes. It looks like Bane just crushed him out. It's
they've
bad.
gone.
So then you go and you see Selena and Bruce, and again, Selena and Bruce earlier, they got that apartment, and it seems like they finagle things. They kind of, played a game to get that, and then they go off to see Falcone because the big thing is Waylon in this fight with Bibbo. And he's there, and this is a weird play because he's like, hey, I recognize you. You're Bibbo's or Waylon's trainer. What, are you here to pay me off? Are you getting out of it? And he's like, no, this is what we have. And when you see it, it just looks like they have a bag of money. But yet they say, oh, no, this is stuff, gold trinkets and stuff we stole from your apartments. So we're looking to raise, as Selena says, like raise some hell or whatever. But again, what do you get from this scene? I don't really get anything except that, the guy ends up golfing. It's Falcone, so it works. But I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't know why we're mixing these things in with him and Selena because they're not that interesting. By the end, we will get Selena. But then we go back to Batman and Alfred. And Batman just says, stand down now. And, I'm going to stop this and whatnot. And again, that's what Alfred.
To the Red Hood guy.
Yeah, he's talking to the Red Hood.
Yeah, set up. Have I just forgotten it?
It's just, I don't know it seems
what
like
that is a reference
still
to.
Part of the idea of the party animals and things like that, and the money that he got. But he's like, stand down now. What do you mean stand down? I mean, it's off, all of it. And they go, nothing's off. You don't get to tell the Red Hood gang, what's off? And he's like, hey, and then Alfred's standing there. It's like, what's that all about? You heard the whole thing, Alfred.
I'm
You were
still
right
waiting
there.
for the Red Hand gang to come back
Yeah,
into it.
really.
Jim.
And,
Remember
and the
them?
Red Hood gang, again, we know that Joker's kind of like this globe-trotting billionaire, so it's not quite that. But he's like,
We've
you were
hardly
right.
got anything of him, have we? So
No,
far,
and
Joker.
so-
we just get little glimpses.
Yeah,
here
you
and
had that
there.
little bit where he told Bane to kill his dad.
Yeah,
That seemed to be
the
it.
last
But
issue.
so we end up here where now Batman's like, yeah, I think it's over. I think I'm done. I think it's done. And then Alfred's like, what? Closing down operations? I'm like, you just kept telling him he should do that. Like, and then he's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, he broke them. Pennyworth, my friends. And he goes, yeah, but he didn't break you. Don't let him break you. I'm like, I think he was broken in a million pieces already. I mean, they had him ripped
I think
apart.
when he
He's
was
got
being
venom and shit.
experimented on and
Yeah,
surgically
yeah,
altered,
and
yeah,
just
in
the
lab,
idea
like-
again is, in my mind, again, I think there's a misplay here of the idea. Now, again, you almost think Bane has come to attack him, but if he got to the friends, I'm sitting there, okay, the friends, yeah, but what about his mom? What about like that sort of thing? If they know that much and know who to go and whatever, I'd be worried. And I'm like, I got to get my mom the hell out of Gotham at least, or just stop this and go with her. But the whole play of that money again. Now it's not so great that he burned that money and that bat symbol earlier where he just wasted it. But he says, and you end up where Alfred says, "You chose this, Bruce. I told you, you're in it now. Everything has changed." He just. Earlier in the issue, it almost felt like he said, don't go out and do anything. Now he's like, you got to go out and do things. And there's only, through. So get ready because it's only going to get, and then boom, somebody enters the deal. Somebody
The alarm
enters there.
goes off. Someone's breached the hatch. It's
Yeah,
Bane. It's got to be Bane, right? He's come for them, Jim.
Yeah.
Or has he?
Yeah, and then you get like, let's bloody give it to him. I'm like, that is a cool cliffhanger. Oh,
That
it
is a
isn't.
great
I
scene.
thought it was a
Look at that.
cliffhanger. I thought,
I
boy,
know.
that is an
Should have
awesome
ended there.
cliffhanger page. It's so good. And then you end up where, except that you end up having Alfred. I think he thinks that he's the Undertaker. He's made his eyes go back in his head. They're all white. But he ends up where he's like,
What
fan
kind
out.
of gun is he holding
I-
here?
that
It's
thing is like-
absolutely
It's the
insane.
craziest rail gun. Like, I love where
awesome.
Batman yells, or actually Alfred yells, fan out. I don't think Alfred would be able to walk with this gun. He's
No.
probably like, I'm just going to stand here. But they do go out and you see this weird mechanical like noose come in and grab Alfred. I'm like, oh God, he's dead now. But
Is
you
it a
end up where he
snake?
gets
Is it a
punched.
tail? Is it
yeah.
a cat
Yeah.
of nine tails?
It's kind of a crazy deal. And you have the, a bunch of fists and punches. And at one point I'm like, why is Batman punching him? Because it looks like his deal. But lets Alfred go, falls and says, what are you effing doing here? And then you go, boom, and it's Catwoman, but with what appears to be a party animals nonsense, those masks that you ended up having the DJ and that stupid baby wearing.
Oh,
So you end
yeah.
up with the black mask stuff there. And
Yo,
she's like,
DJ.
well, hello to you too, Bruce. So I don't know if she's part of that. It certainly looks like those masks. Maybe she's DJing. He's doing a little DJing, playing the beats that meet. I don't know. And I don't know what to make up. But yeah, at the end, she's like, oh, hello to you too. So you get Selena. But again,
It's
I
a
don't
crazy
know.
mask, but it's great seeing Batman's reflection
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty
It looks
awesome.
great. And some of the art's really, really good. I don't know. This issue kind of took me a little bit in a weird way. Like I was just like, I don't really love it. I all the other things when it's over the top, kicking babies and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that. Like
You're
I
never gonna
love
leave
that.
that alone, Jim.
No, I love that. But this one was just kind of like, all right, like we get it. Now you're going a little too fast for me, or even going further than I wish it would with the
Shock value,
friends
big
/
time.
villains rogues gallery. I like that play, so that threw me off.
Got
a
me
bit.
though. It did get me because, like you were saying, we were enjoying the relationship that was building. Well, they were showing us the friends, and that was really cool. And now it's like in one issue, Scott Snyder's taken that all away, hasn't it? It's like,
Now,
oh, no.
yeah. So by
No.
the end, Catwoman's there, but she might be one of the party animals. She might be whatever. I
It's not
don't
clear.
know.
Yeah, whose side
Yeah,
is she on? Probably
so-
just her own side. That's
Yeah.
what she's meant to.
What would you give it?
I loved it. In my review, like last week, I did a video review. I gave it like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was brilliant. Rereading it now, probably the second time or third time even, I'm going to drop it 8.5.
I just ate some shepherd's pie.
Good. 8.5 out of 10, Jim. I say I had a blast.
Shepherd's pie was like
Shepherd's pie.
That was like a 9 out of 10. The shepherd's pie. This issue, I'm giving a 6 out of 10.
I thought Shepherd's
didn't
pie
love
was
it as
like
much.
1,000 degrees out of 10.
It was, yeah, it was before. Like the worst is don't ever like try to cook something that is that hot and molten hot a minute before you're going to record because it just sat there. So I grabbed the bite out of that, but I'm a 6 out of 10.
You're a 6?
Yep,
Jesus.
6 out of 10.
The
And I
hell?
like the art. It's fine. I think I just need a little bit more. I get it. I get the whole play of it. I need something a little bit more than, oh my God, look at this huge rail gun. Oh my God, look at, Oswald is all messed up. It just didn't do it for me. And maybe I don't know, we're doing this a week late. I read it today and I forgot about anybody hyping it. Maybe the hype gets me when we do it normally, but I just didn't love it. But we'll move on to the next book, which is a book that a lot of people tell me that they're dropping, and it is Absolute Flesh. And you had gone on the record.
We were close to dropping it, weren't we? Me and you.
Yeah, you were on the
it.
record in the Slack that you were talking about how you thought this was the best issue that you've ever read in your life, I heard.
I didn't say that.
It's Absolute Flash number 7. It is Jeff Lemire writing, Travis Moore on art, Adriana Lucas on colors, Tom Napolitano on letters, Andrew Marino, senior editor. You also have Ash Padilla, assistant editor. There's so many editors on these. Katie Kior on group editor, Chris Conroy as the executive editor.
He's in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, so he's probably like, Jesus criminy, like Ash.
What I said about this, ladies and gentlemen, I said that I was just happy to see that Travis Moore is back on art. What a difference it makes. And there's actually a story in this. Things happen, believe it or not. It's quite fast.
It's a weird play. I don't know what's happening for the most part. And still, I'm going to go with the idea that if somebody said, should I read this Flash book? And then if I said, oh, yeah, give it a shot. Like, I'm just duping them because I want them to read it. But in the meantime, if they said, well, what's good about it? I don't know what I can tell them. I do like Travis Moore's art. And I'm talking the series in general, though, because it's weird, too. It's Absolute stuff. You would think it's more important and would have just set artists, and you wouldn't have so many different guest artists on a bunch of these books, but that's not how it's playing out, I guess, just to make sure that it's not delayed and things like that. But in this, we like Crod, and there's Wally, and they're going, and there's a storm, and you have them walking through town, and Grodd's really upset about the storm. He's like, I don't like the thunder, I don't like it. In the meantime, what we're going to get is Weather Wizard is going to be showing up. I will say that there are people who I've talked to that were confused and thought it might be Shazam or thought it was the Wizard Shazam, like getting things mixed up because they don't quite, Jeff Lemire isn't going to come out and tell you, but you can kind of glean that it is Weather Wizard, especially when he says, don't take me back to the facility.
I was going to ask you
like
because
that.
I don't know the Flash, villains or the Flash characters.
He's part of the Rogues.
So is he an existing character?
Yeah, he's part of the Rogues.
Okay.
And in the meantime,
Gotcha.
You even have a play where it looks like maybe Mirror Master's looking at Wally when Wally looks in the mirror and then looks away and it's still looking at him with some crazy grimace that it looks like. I remember one of the big things we saw, I forget what it was, the one issue that was like that side deal was for Batman Day or something, but it was that Absolute deal where Mirror Master was like kind of the connection point between the two universes, and he kind of knew. So that's kind of a neat. Again,
and
another one.
Nothing really happened since then, has there?
Yeah,
that's not really been followed up.
No, and so you're getting a lot of the Rogues. We already saw what's his name? I was going to say Heat Miser, but we we already had
Heat Miser?
We already had Heat Miser,
Heat Seeker, Heat Wave.
We had Mick Foley, I guess.
Hot
Mick Foley,
topic.
but we had. So now we're going to get the rest. We're going to get Weather Wizard, and we already see Mirror Master, but you end up where they're
going. It's not Gandalf, right?
No,
just to be
and
sure,
that's the thing. These are just the classic Rogues. So you end up where Wally is there, like, hey, I'm sitting there. I'm like, you really think Rod has a credit card? Like, are you just being a jokester there or whatever? What do you think? It's in his fanny pack? And he's like, hey, I'm hungry. We need to get stuff. Oh, man, do you have a credit card? Grodd doesn't need money. I'm like, yeah, but we do need money, Grodd. And he goes into this, convenience mart deal, supermarket, whatever it would be. And it does look like behind him at one point, there's a bunch of magazines that have like Wonder Woman. And it's very odd. But he's like, hey, can you give me something for free? I'm really hungry. And this lady's like, no, we don't do that. And he's like, well, I'm really sorry then, because I'm going to rob the shit out of you, and starts running around and grabbing stuff. Now, in the meantime, if you're going to do this, don't stop when you're there about to leave. If you're going to flash yourself around and grab shit, you flash yourself out of the place and get the hell out. And then when you're there, in an alleyway, that's when you stop. But he ends
And
up
he's
where
taking
he
too
stops.
much, Jim.
Yeah.
Just take a few
Yeah,
things.
seriously.
Like, Jesus, how hungry are you?
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, look at the guy. He like robbed the
What's he
place.
got?
Look at it. He's like, he probably got those dirty mags too. But he ends up getting zapped, and he falls. He's
What
like,
happens to him here?
Yeah, I don't really know.
He has a Daredevil moment. You see, almost like an echolocation
maybe,
thing. It's like, boom, he's down.
Yeah, I thought maybe it's the play that he just doesn't have anything to eat, so he kind of runs out of energy type deal. But it was weird. I actually thought, because we kind of know the rogues are after him, I thought he got zapped by then. But no, he just kind of falls over, and he's going to get arrested. In the meantime, his dad is being held by Thawne at the Fort Fox, Colorado Project Olympus. And she ends up like, oh, man, why should I even spare you? What's going on? This is a pain in the ass. But he ends up saying, well, his dad says, I want to help my son. I want to help him. It's like, oh, you'd do anything to get him back, wouldn't you? And he's like, yeah, I'd do anything. So we'll see what's going on. But then it's like, hey, by the way, what the hell are you doing here? And then that's where it gets a little wacky, where Thawne goes over and it's like, oh, I'm just here with this crazy bitch. And in the meantime, it's our predecessor. Oh, what do you mean? What did you find? What? It's not what, it's a whom. It's God. And I'm like, okay.
Is this meant to be linking to the absolute Green Lantern, or is it nothing to do with that?
It seems like it's that, or it could be a Martian. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just part of the deal. And then it also even plays out like what Talia was saying about Raish, about, the God stuff. So we'll have to see, but it just kind of felt weird. I don't know. And so you end up, and it might be like, I don't know. Maybe it is a Green Lantern in the back to tank.
I'll ask the people in the chat, see what they think.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
you go off to the Missouri state line, and that's when you do have the rogues in their ship, and they're trying to find. Well,
I'm getting to like the rogues more and more.
Yeah,
too,
I like
because,
them. I
we're
think they're
finally
pretty
getting
cool.
a bit of development, aren't we, the characters?
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Almost play off like a Guardians of the Galaxy, actually, in my mind. And when they're in the ship, it actually reminds me of the Milano, even as they go. But they're like, hey, let's go. We're going to get the monkey and the kid. And that's the thing. You even see where they're trekking. They can trek Grodd. That's been known. So wherever Grodd is, that's where they know where Wally is. But in the meantime, they're like, hey, take us in, Digger. Digger's flying the place. I just thought that Digger would get a little more, like, he's not as snarky in this one. He just ends up like, what, are we going through the storm? Yeah, take us in. Okay. But before I actually did like the bickering that they had with Jesse and, the whole play. But in this, they're kind of, coming together to go and find Wally and Grodd.
We get a bit more though later on, don't we? We get a little bit of snark. It's like, okay, good.
A little
still
bit.
There, still there.
Yeah. So in the meantime, Wally's been arrested. He wakes up. This piece of crap. I mean, I can't even say, is this guy a piece of crap? Wally did rob a lot of stuff. He was shoplifting.
He was trying to shoplift,
yeah. Now, in the meantime, Wally, if I'm his lawyer, in his defense, yes, he did grab a lot of things quickly, but he never left the store. He actually stopped and was at the front counter. I would just say, and if there is footage, I'd say, oh, no, he stopped because he was going to pay.
And then I collapsed.
And then he collapsed. I'm telling you, I think it works.
You get put in jail for bad intentions, Jim, just for what you intend to do.
And he is a kid, so it almost feels too like it's not quite like, oh, you're going up the river, pal. It almost is like, hey, we're going to call your mom and dad and see what's going on. But he's like, well, that's not going to work out well. And then the guy starts going through his backpack and he thinks Grodd's in it. So he's like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. But he's like, hey, why not? And then he pulls out this thing. And again, he pulls out and goes, what the hell is this? I'm telling you right there, you just say, oh, I'm in the motocross. It looks like a motocross like outfit, right? Like one of those things. But he's desperately trying to figure out where Grodd is. He's calling out to him, but Grodd isn't.
He was worried he was going to be in the bag, wasn't he? Yeah.
And again,
Grodd.
Who knows?
Like
it would be to see him, but maybe Grodd would attack this guy or whatnot. But the thunder's really coming in. You're having problems. And then he's like, man, the thunder. And then boom, the wall just comes shattering down. And this guy is done, right?
Flying.
I'm telling you, the sheriff, he gets knocked out later by Digger, but I don't think you'd need to knock him out. That guy goes flying. That guy doesn't look in good shape. So he ends up falling down and like, hey, Wes, long time no see. And then you have Jesse. That's the best one-liner you could come up with, Lisa.
Come on, Lisa. What are you doing? You're not even trying.
Those two keep giving each other so much crap that you know that one of them's going to be in danger and the other one's going to do something really over the top to save them because it's
save
one of
them.
those. You know what I mean?
Secretly best
It's
friends.
being really like almost like family, and they're giving each other shit, but when things come down to it, but you end up where Wally ends up like, hey, what's happening? And then that's where Jesse grabs the motocross and says, hey, nice outfit. Then the guy, the poor, I'm actually feeling bad for the chef. I mean, he really didn't do anything but arrest somebody who seemed to be robbing stuff. He wakes up and gets punched
like, hey,
out.
what?
And he's like, hey, he gets, hey, stay down,
Stay
big
down,
boy.
Big boy.
Yeah, and so they say.
By the way, Jim, is Digger meant to be Australian? I can't remember. I don't know the character.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If it
Gotcha.
plays
So
the same deal.
you have to try and do an Aussie accent.
Hello,
Stay down,
love.
big boy.
Stay down there, big boy, unless you want to shrimp on the barbies, does ya?
That's England. Jesus. England mixed with God knows what.
Here, okay, then I think he might be German. Here's my German. Hello, love. What are you doing here? I'm here in the Germany. I'm here in the Black Forest,
Oh,
Isams.
God. I can see why Eric left now.
Yeah,
I
I
get
can
it.
too.
I'm out of
Jerk.
it.
That's because he's a jerk, you mean, right? I think that's what you meant. So you end up where he's like, hey there, stay down, the big boy. Is that a little better? Hey, get a shrimp on the barbie, does ya? Hey, governor.
Help me, somebody help me.
Hey there.
Somebody stop him.
I'm going on a walkabout, Isams. But yeah, he punches the guy out. And they go, hey, guess you can't escape from it. I'm like the idea, can't pull your Crimson Ghost escape trick. I'm like, maybe he could. But he's famished. He hasn't eaten anything. He's too hungry.
He's so
it's kind
hungry,
of the
isn't he?
deal.
He needs food to be able to use his powers. That's the whole thing. He needs the carbohydrates,
and that's
baby.
where you see a lot of times, you'll have Barry and Wally. They'll just, mainly Wally, he'll just eat like, he'll go to the buffet and just go to town. It's funny, Jesse says later, this isn't a buffet. But the big thing is Grodd's missing, and that's his friend. And it is it's one of the only feels bits that you've really got. I don't have any feels with Wally's dad. Or Wally, between those
I don't get
two,
any connection between them
yeah,
at all.
exactly. You have no connection because it was never established. Really, all you were told is like Jeff Lemire thinks that just saying father son, and you're supposed to have this feelings with it. I mean, I have 5 sons. I barely have a feeling in my freaking bones. But you end up with Grodd. They protect each other, and Grodd seems like he's scared all the time and whatnot. And Wally really is like, I need to find Grodd. He's not worried about himself. He's not like, hey, get me out of jail because my dad's going to get... No, he's like, we got to find Grodd. Grodd's missing.
Tracking the monkeys. The monkey's on the move, Cap. It's like, okay. Wally's like, I'm going to need a snack. Give me something. What did they give him, AJ?
Yeah, it just looks like a power bar or something.
Energy.
Yeah, an energy bar. But in the meantime, that's why I like this issue a bit, is that Wally ends up where I don't know that he might have just stayed in jail. He just like, I don't know, whatever. And they're like, well, we can track the monkey. We can track Grodd. So how about we get you out of there and we promise not to pull anything. We'll find the monkey together and then get the hell out of this place. What do you say? And it's Wally's like, because of Grodd. He wants to go and help Grodd. Grodd's out there. It is thundering. And I think that's why that cop's like, man, it's still thundering out there. So you know that Grodd is petrified out there. He's so scared. So Wally will do anything, almost like what Wally's dad said about him. I'll do anything. I do think that Wally will do anything. But they end up, freezing
you say
the
you'll do
bars.
anything, but you won't do that.
Yeah,
will you?
exactly.
I'm
we
going
won't
to
do.
save my only friend.
He says he's going to do it. But they end up where they it's kind of cool. They freeze the bars, and then Lisa with her robotic legs. Luckily, she's not like a runner with those blades, or she would have killed somebody, because that's what happens. But she ends up smashing him down. They give him his costume. He says, I need a snack. And then he's like eating this candy bar. And he's like, is this all you got? And Jesse's like, yeah, this isn't a buffet. Like, let's get going. But you have more of the lightning. And they're like, okay, well, let's go. We got to do it. And again, this is Grodd. He doesn't like the thunder. He was so petrified. So Wally's like, I'm not leaving him. They're like, we got to cut our losses and get out of here. This is really bad. We can't go any further. And Wally's like, no, we can, because that's my only friend. I like that. I'm going to save my only friend. And I do think that that's like the weird heart of the book is Grodd and Wally, which I never would have thought. But Wally goes running and gets, hit by lightning, falls down. Suddenly Grodd's there. and then points, and it looks like Weather Wizard. And he says, I'm not going back. You can't take me back. He has no idea that they have the same idea. Like Wally has just as bad a thing and tries to explain and says at one point, like, listen, Barry Allen, he's the one who did this to me. And he ends up like there's a crazy tornado and he's doing all this shit. And it's bad stuff. But he says, I get it. You're from Fort Fox. And we saw some of the tubes and things listed and doors and things like that. And so you end up where we kind of get the idea that that's where he's from. They would experiment on him, but he's
Jim,
pretty
like,
intimidating.
Where does Grodd come from, though? Because we see Wally get zapped.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. He just seems to
and
be
suddenly
there.
He's just there.
Yeah, he just seems to be there. But yeah, it's odd.
Was he riding that lightning bolt?
Yeah, maybe. He's just kind of hanging. He was hanging, like, watching. I do like the idea.
Storm Man. That's why I got confused. I thought that was his name.
And you
Not
do,
Weather
yeah,
Wizard.
he's all upset. And you do have, like, he looks like Thor, right? A bit. He looks like Gandalf, like you said. But I like that it looks like he's wearing karate pants. I kind of think that's funny. Like he looks like he's got karate pajamas on. Like, look at this guy in that crazy steel. He's got like a formal coat, a weird sailor shirt, and a freaking pajama pants. I'm like, this is a weird look. Also, probably stinks. He looks like he hasn't bathed in a while. But yeah, he's bringing it all down on them, and Wally ends up
poor Wally with his lightning rod or whatever it is.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, wait, Barry Allen's dead. Like, you're mad at Barry Allen. He's dead, but it was an accident." And he's like, there are no accidents, but boom, and hits him. And then Wally finally, and Grodd's freaking out, and Wally finally just comes to the idea of, listen, you hit me with the lightning. It hurt like hell, but I think that what I'm going to do is put it inside me. I'm like, that sounds sexy, but I'm like, where are you getting this from? I just thought of the idea, like, where are you getting this from that you could do it, but he can? And then, boom, he gets hit by lightning, which then supercharges him. And he says, I ain't hungry no more. Ding, ding. And it just wallops the Weather Wizard. And then I'm like,
boom.
The poor guy. Look
even.
at this guy. The guy's like 800 years old, doesn't even have shoes on unless Wally punched him out of his shoes. I mean, look at this guy. And then, this is the best part, I think.
He punched him out of the storm, Jim,
yeah.
didn't he?
Well, that's the best part. Once he knocks him out, boom, the storm's done. Yeah. And it's like the best part. I think that's the best part of the entire issue, of seeing him wallop him so supercharged. Also seeing barefoot Gandalf, but right away, boom, storm's over.
So again, Jim, I'm a dummy. Don't forget, just to explain it to me, like, so Weather Wizard, or what it's called, was causing the storm.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when,
he was making
when
the
Wally
storm.
knocks him out,
he was freaking out. I get the idea too. It's like he was more like, once he escaped, he's insane. All the shit that they did to him, that he's just completely freaking out, causing all this.
I'm not going
yeah,
back
that's what
now,
I'm saying. And again, you see Wally show up, and the idea at points, when he maybe escaped before, and what would have happened is the rogues would have probably went and got him because of how they went to get Wally. And then you see this outfit, and I bet he thought you're just part of the crew that comes and gathers people up, and I don't want to go back. Even with Wally saying, I don't want to either. Like, I'm not part of that, but I think he's too crazed up. But once he gets punched, boom, it's such a good play. And it would have, like, if this was like a TV show or a movie, the idea of having all that noise when Wally, but boom, and then it's just complete silence and everything's gone is really, really cool.
That would make a great visual scene. Yeah,
and
it would be brilliant.
Grodd goes, no more bad storm. He goes, no more bad storm. But then you see the rogues come in. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen? But again, they seem sick of what they have to do.
Yeah, Wally's about to run. He's like, he's going to go. He's like, no, wait, hold on, kid, wait.
And you get the wink. Again, I made fun of some of the things that the Friends / Rogues gallery in the Batman deal said. This is like a wink. It's almost like, man, you did it. You said it, because he's like, hey, we're done. And you end up where Wally again, and that's the shame. And Weather Wizard's still there. He's just knocked out, but he says, I'm not going back. And they're like, good, because neither are we. Now, with that,
Digger's like,
yeah, this wasn't a plan. But he's like, hey, what's going on, the captain? But yeah, he's like, what? And he's like, listen, we're the weapons now. We can do whatever we want. We can take whatever we want. So how about it, kid? Want to go rogue? Wink. I'm like, but it was okay. I
like it. Again, I like his finish. I'm glad to see the rogues, they're recruiting Wally. And Wally looks up for it, Jim, doesn't he?
Yeah. And so this is the rankings of the books for me. I like Wonder Woman the most. You like Batman, right? But they're close. And then you have Superman, which is getting close with me to get like even up with him. I still have Flash as my fourth book. It's way down there, and then you get Absolute Martian Manhunter that I can't stand, and that Green Lantern I just don't like either. So Flash has a bit of wiggle room. It's not the worst of the books, but it needs to do something. And I realize reading this that I just am so desperate for it to do anything that even a little bit, like what we got here, I think is a really big improvement. Like I actually read it and I had some fun. It was
left way behind, wasn't it? The last few issues, it was like, come on, there's nothing happening.
And I'm telling you, my score isn't going to be, crazy or anything like it, but it's still going to be a little bit better than. And again, maybe you shouldn't rate him as, this versus the Batman deal. The Batman I'm rating within that series and the Flash in this. So what would you give this?
I'm the same as Brandon in the chat. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10.
That's what I am as well.
So much better than it has been.
And if I didn't go 7, I wouldn't go up to a 7.5. I would actually have to go down. If I went any sort of way up or down, it would probably be to a 6.5. But I'm going with a 7. I think it is an improvement. There's some things happening, at least some things when you go, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I actually want to see what happens next. I'm like, with him with the rogues, that's crazy. Maybe we'll get. You said it though. I do like the rogues. I think they're pretty cool here. I always do. The rogues are one of my favorite villain groups
in it, aren't they?
Yeah, and I love the rogues normally. So this is cool. And maybe the players, now that the Batman's rogues gallery is now the villains and ripped apart or whatever, get a little Wally hanging out with, traditional villains here, but they're fighting against a common foe, which happens to have his dad. And that whole play. Now, again, when you go and have Thawne's like, no, they found God. I'm like, yeah, you say whatever. Like, I don't get that. I'm having more fun, though, with the rogues. The rogues actually are the ones that make the deal. But
much needed improvement, this issue, definitely. It's given me hope again in Absolute Flash, because we were enjoying it, weren't we, back in the early issues, even though it wasn't moving very fast for a Flash book, ironic. But
it's always been my fourth favorite. But
come on, come back.
It's not enough to get even near the first 3, but I think it still is better then. And also, just to shout out again, when Travis Moore's on art, it definitely, like, that is another reason why I think that it looks looks so much better. Yeah, it's so much better. The characters have more emotions and expressions, and I really like the way that it plays out. So
his eyelashes have shrunk, thank goodness, as well. Not quite as sexy as they were.
Yeah, you have that hairstyle, but it's not like sometimes it is. Yeah, he just looks like a kid who has just poofy hair, which I'm fine with. Though Digger looked a little different in this. He looked kind of sexy. He's there hanging. He looked pretty. The guy's stacked. At the one point when they're looking at that map, holy moly, Digger is huge. Like, his biceps have biceps. He's huge. I mean, look at him. Holy moly. But again, you might have gotten a little hint where he might not be really down with the idea of, not going back, because he says, and in that they are a team, and they usually are. But Digger, he can be a piece of a shit sometimes. It ends up messing up things. So he might be a little wrench in the works and whatnot. But we'll see. But we're both 7s. That is it. Thanks everybody. And we are recording this live in the on YouTube. In the meantime, with that, we haven't done a bunch, and I haven't done a bunch of YouTube, but I just want to give a shout out that I ended up going past 100,000 subscribers on the Sus Records, right? So I'm waiting for the stupid plaque, and I ain't getting it. I was told I'm not getting the plaque, so I was very upset this morning. That was one of the things that threw me off.
Team is too sus for plaques on YouTube.
Yeah, they said I can't get the plaque because I ended up having some videos that got warnings or something. I'm like, that's bullshit. I was so upset. I was so mad. I wanted to make that thing into a medallion and walk around town and show my kids and shove it down their throat.
That made me laugh when you said, I don't want a plaque, I want a medallion.
Exactly. That's what I wanted. I was going to get a chain and make it. Now I'm going to have to make my own. I'll make my own plaque. I was so mad. Also, I found out that when you get the plaque, you can actually ask for multiple plaques. I was going to get a bunch for a bunch of people, maybe even you. Send it off to Japan, but I will not be getting one. Now I'm at like near 130,000, and no plaque in sight. just dirty songs. But we're gonna get out of here.
Not to crush your high here, but just to say, put things into perspective, and this gets me as well, Jim. How's your comic YouTube channel doing?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you close
doing,
to 100,000
yeah,
on
yeah,
that?
that's not close. Again,
God
people
almighty.
here's the thing: people be like, "Well, you don't do a lot on there," and I'm like, "Yeah, there's a reason. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't
I've
go."
got back into it. I'm doing at least two reviews a week now. I'm doing like a kind of new picks video, and
Yeah.
I'm doing not too bad. But
Okay.
I've been taking ages to get to
That's
3,000.
what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
taking me 2 years to get. I'm
Yes.
still nowhere near it.
okay, here's the
Ugh.
deal. Just as a shout out deal, I have 4,001. Probably less now because we had a live show and it usually dips, right? So I have
4,001.
4,001.
Hang on a minute. I'll unsubscribe.
Right?
And
So in
to
that,
round it out for you.
in that, yesterday on the Sus Records, one day I got 6,000 subscribers. So
come
yeah,
on.
so it's a joke.
What's
But
the
yeah,
point, Jim?
yeah, I just whatever. But I do like
Because we enjoy it,
doing
right?
it. Yeah, I do. It's just that at the moment, really. If it wasn't for Eric, if Eric didn't quit, I probably would have a video every day. It's just that trying to coordinate shit all the time, and it's just that hassle. But we'll get it in. I still have to finish recording this week's. I didn't even do any recording for the Spotlight. And if people are aware, we have a Spotlight show on, and it's the badasses of the Get Fresh crew. They end up picking 2 books, and they ended up picking the Bat/Man, The Second Night, and that crypto book that's going to take about 2 seconds to record. But me and Simon have to do it tomorrow because we couldn't get some things and get coordinated. So that'll be
tomorrow.
coming out.
Okay, so it won't be Drunk Simon then.
No, it'll be, like sober Simon. It will be, unless he drinks
Just got
real
back
early.
home from pub, Jim.
Yeah,
What are you
exactly.
doing there?
So,
You all right, mate?
so we'll be doing that, and also doing Justice League Red, and that'll finish the deal. But in the
Sorry,
meantime,
Simon, doesn't sound anything like that.
Hello, love. It's
I
me,
was trying to do
Simon. It's
my
me, Simon,
Southern
talking.
Cockney accent.
Yeah.
What,
I don't
Mary
know.
Poppins?
I started reading the Bat/Man Second Night, and I almost fell asleep. The beginning is very wordy, but I hear that it's really good. So I'm looking forward to that. That crypto book is a piece of shit book, and Ryan North should be run out of town. Is what he should be. That book is awful, and it's awful in so many ways, including why did you read that this week? Here's some spoilers. Spoiler alert. This book with crypto, you're like, oh man, my kids love crypto. Oh shit, another dog dies. I'm like, what is going on in this book? What are you doing?
Who's writing this again? Is it
Ryan North? Yeah, a dog died, and
got
then
a problem with dogs.
you
Has
know
he?
what?
What's going on?
Usually the deal is if you have something like that, you'll have a dog die, and you'll barely see it. You'll have to assume it happened, whatever. He goes back to it. Like the dog is dead. They show the dog's eyes rolled in the back of its head, and then they go and then come back to it. I'm like, why are we going back to it? Holy moly. Yeah. There it
Tell
is.
you what,
Brandon said it.
People
And
on League Comic Book Geeks loving it, Jim.
Brandon isn't
5 out
the
of
only.
5s
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's bullshit. There is no way. And I'm sure, I guarantee you, those assholes right now, everybody's like, man, it really got me in the feels. Oh, man, I didn't know I could cry. Oh, my God, I was in tears. I was too because of how awful it was. And you end up where Brandon is the same as Brad. Brad gets it for his kids. And he's like, I can't let them read it. I don't want to deal with that of a dead dog. Whew. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
It's
What's
bad.
going on, DC? What are you doing?
Fucking bad. Really bad. But, and in the meantime, his other shit sucks too. That One World Under Doom is nonsense. But yeah,
I
Brandon
haven't finished
says.
Second Night yet, Jim. By the way, going back to that, I'm reading it. I'm really enjoying it though.
It's
I
a
like it. I know
long
what you
issue,
mean. It's
though, right?
slow.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
slow.
long issue, oversized, over page count.
Nah.
But the art is awesome.
Yeah,
Come
I'm going to
on,
have
look
to.
at
I'm
it.
not a big fan of Mike Perkins'
don't like it?
art.
Ooh.
No, I'm not a big
Shots
fan of
fired.
his art, but I think that by the end, while I was going through it, talking about it with Wes, I end up like, yeah, it does look pretty cool. Like it fits. The art fits really good with it, but I'm not a big fan.
1940.
But yeah, there's Brandon.
Batman.
Brandon's like, he ends up where he, hey, kids, it's bedtime. Let's read the new crypto. And he's like, now he's got to explain death.
No, don't do
And
it.
his kids
It's
are,
like-
I'm telling you, then he's like, he wants to go get busy. The kids are not sleeping. They're all upset
It's
and
like
crying.
the original Transformers animated movie, isn't it? When Optimus Prime, no spoilers, but you know that scarred a lot
Yeah.
of kids, didn't it, when they were young? Back
I mean,
in the 80s,
seriously,
Jim.
yeah. What you have to
We
do.
could take it back then, couldn't we? We could take it.
I mean, seriously, all I kept thinking of is the crazy long distance dedication for Casey Kasem. That's all I could think of. And in fact, I might get that and put it at the end of the spotlight, just so people can hear when you have a death dog dedication. It's like you get Lex beating.
When you say Casey Kasem, that always makes me think of Ghostbusters, the first one, because it's great.
I like Casey Kasem, and oh yeah, if they're Brandon's, that's great. Brandon's dog died a few months ago, and then they're reading this book, and now he goes, we're back to square one.
Oh no! Just when you thought you got over the loss,
Brandon,
like, no, he's back. He's in your comic books.
Brandon, you got to go and get a new dog, and just call it whatever your dog's name was. Just call it whatever 2. Hey, here's Scruffy 2. And go with the deal.
Junior.
I did hear a funny thing.
Junior.
Yeah, I did hear a thing at one point was funny where this family, their dog died, and they ended up getting a dog right away, Snuggles. There is a problem because we've done this too, where you get this new dog and you assume, for a weird way, that dog should know everything the other dog knew, and you get mad. And you're like, why are you doing that? Like, Snuggles never did that. Like, oh, well. But yeah, it was pretty bad. There's Fear Monarch said it's like the Transformers movie. Yeah, there you go. I'll have to take your word for it. I realized again today that I haven't seen shit on shit. I've seen no movies. Nothing, but in the meantime, we're done. We are done. So thanks, everybody. There's the $400 stuffed animal replica. I keep seeing those videos of like, I have this support robot panda, and it's like this little thing crawling on people and stuff. I'm like, I think that thing's going to attack you in your sleep. I don't like it. But yeah, that crypto book is bad. And again, just to Fear Monarch, Brandon, and we'll listen to the spotlight. Like, what the hell are you going to talk about? What are me and Sam going to talk about with that book, except me yelling even more when we go to do it? Because at one point, Brandon will tell you, it's Homeward Bound. And you're like, oh my God, this is so... Oh, he's dead. It's like the worst. Oh, it's so fucking bad. But maybe not the... Well, no, I think it might be the worst book this week. But you'll hear I get really mad at Brad and I start cursing at him. I actually, in this week's podcast, I tell Brad that he's a basic bitch and start yelling at him.
Brad
and then
gets the full Jim Fury.
Later on, I felt bad, and then I told him he's not a basic bitch. He's just a pure bitch, is what I told him. And then he's like, thanks. And
Jesus,
then I was waiting.
Worse.
I was waiting for afterwards for him to get mad at me. So we got done. I'm like, I gotta go, and I ended up disconnecting real quick. He didn't have time to get
Speaking
upset.
of crypto, what do you think of that Jeff the Landshark crypto mini story in Deadpool Batman? How good was that? Hey.
Again, just imagine that I'm talking about Brad does not read. Brad doesn't read Marvel, so has no idea really Jeff the Landshark. And so I'm like, well, you got to understand Jeff the Landshark. I did talk to somebody who was in the comic book roundup and gave a review and said, I don't know what this shark thing is, but they should have had Lockheed. And I messaged, I commented, and I said basically, like, I know you may not know who this is, but it's pretty big. I mean, he's well known. He's in the Rivals game. There's some people, and they got Kelly Thompson to do it because she is the creator and guru. But when you do that, the guy. So then I said, like, he's really. I'm not saying he's like great, but he is pretty popular. He's well known right now. I said, well, way more known at this moment than Lockheed. And the guy's like, bullshit. You're fucking ass. I'm like, okay, sorry I even talked to you. You smacked ass.
See, that's what you get for trying to be nice, eh? Hey, look at me. Happens to me all the time.
Crypto a 9. Somebody gave it. Holy moly. And Matt Fisher came in with the 2-minute warning. Came in with 4 years ago, I used to be with it. But then they changed it as he's Grandpa Simpson. That's me now. That's the problem. But that guy actually, like, the guy, I don't read Marvel, but I don't know who the hell this guy. I'm like, all right. And yeah, so this week on the regular DC podcast, we talk about the Deadpool Batman and Brad's whole play being a basic bitch he is. Now, he doesn't read Marvel. So he hasn't really read any Deadpool. I said, I think that going into it, I've had way too many Deadpool crossovers. Me and you have talked about like 17 of them.
We've read a couple,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, and I
Lisa
just
Wong,
it's
Cody
it
Ziegler.
and
They're so
oh
annoying,
yeah.
Jim. I thought so. I know you're going to kill me for this, but I thought the Zeb Wells take was actually
Yeah,
pretty
I
good
just
because it was actually quite funny at
my
times.
play was I didn't get any chuckles. Also, I said to Brad, I'm like, I don't, because Brad doesn't seem to like the sexy jokes, right? And he's like, oh, I thought it was funny. I'm like, really? Because there's a lot of sexy jokes. And he's like, no, there wasn't. I'm like, oh, yeah, there were. There were a bunch. And yeah, he went with it. But, yeah.
The best bit was Jim Gordon, what he said to Deadpool. I thought that was funny. That got a laugh out of me.
At the one point, even he's like, yeah, and then I'm going to blow you or whatever. He's like, hey, that came out wrong. And then he said that Bruce was, whacking the meat. It just didn't do much for me. And
I saw you with your dressing gown with
I just
with
don't
your
like
computer
Zeb
screen
Wells.
up.
And I think that Sully actually didn't like it, which is a shocker because he likes everything. But he did say, and I'll go with Sully.
With X-Men because it's
Sully
got too
ended
many
up
girls in it.
Yeah. Oh, I was making fun of him on that West show. I said that. No, I actually mentioned, Brandon will tell you because he listens to it all the time. I mentioned you, and I mentioned that Sully will get a hold of you and just say, hey, look, there's no strong men in this book. I said that Sully's so crazy, he would complain about Why the Last Man and say there's not enough men when there's only one. He'd get so pissed. But I did say Brad hasn't read any Marvel, so he's never read Deadpool. So when he went into it, he's like, I think it's cool. It's like the movie Deadpool. And my whole complaint was very basic. That's why I said that. I called him a basic bitch.
The story was
I
very
said,
basic. Yeah.
And you end up, there's the Joker, and you have that. It just seemed very paint by numbers. And then the rest of the stuff, that Cap Wonder Woman was nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense in that. The thing that me and Brad had the most fun making fun of is the thing that I liked the first time I read it was like Kevin Smith, Green Arrow, and Daredevil.
Right.
Once we
were
going
Smithy,
through it,
but
it's so heavy-handed with, hey, welcome
awesome.
to Hell's Kitchen. And then, yeah, that's where, it'll eat you. And I'm like, oh, God, stop it. Stop it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But thank you, Matt, for the super chat. Thanks, everybody. We're back again. Eventually, I'll maybe get, involved like you are, getting inspired and making some more videos and stuff like that. But I do have some live streams for the Sus Records, little dance party things. But I think that I'm going to pull back a lot on those. I think that I was doing too many. So maybe I'll do a little more stuff with the comics. Maybe have a best of type of deal. That's always okay.
Come on,
I like doing it with other people, though.
Now, Jim.
And the timing for me and you gets all wacky, and you already do so much. That's the thing that Eric screws us. Before it was like just bonus stuff. Like, hey, me and you'll do this one thing, but now you do the Marvel. Then we do this. I mean, we do so much already, so it kind of stinks. But with all of that, thanks, everybody. As always, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to go to bed. It's not even that late, but I think I will go to bed.
Is it your
bedtime? I'm actually going to eat some more shepherd's pie. I didn't really get to eat that much, and it burned the shit out of the roof of my mouth. But we'll do that. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
And Brandon says an overwhelmingly positive show. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon. See, we were positive. Exactly. And it's not just me this time.
Yeah, sometimes, I can even get positive. Usually I'm yelling. I yell a lot in the regular podcast this week. So right before we did this, I ended up reviewing the year one, the Batman and Robin, which was good, but a little rushed. But then also that Batman, Superman World's Finest, that was garbage. So, and yeah,
I've not been reading that for quite a while now.
Yeah, I said, I don't think anybody is. It's such a book that's lost.
That's a shame because I'm
lost
still
its
going.
zeal, right?
It's hitting the numbers it's hit. That's pretty cool. For
I said that, and it looks like
43 issues.
Zach even says he thinks they're just trying to get to that 50.
Yeah.
Still a while, but we'll see. We'll see. But thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for the showing up in the chat. All that, again, we do this live when we have books, around between 7 and 7:30. This time we had to start a little late because I was making shepherd's pie. But we did it. So we're back. We're up to schedule. I think next week we'll probably end up having, I don't know.
Absolute Wonder Woman, issue 12.
Okay, well, that's cool. With the Absolute Martian Manhunter on hiatus, we may end up with a week or so that they don't have a book. I don't know that, but we'll see. But usually now it's like one book each week, but we'll see. We have to catch up with Batman this week, so we'll see. But with that,
just to warn you, Jim, as well. This is not festivals, by the way. I've got a jiu-jitsu competition.
Oh my goodness! Next week,
4th of October. No, next week I'm fine. It's the week after. But luckily, it's only Absolute Green Lantern out that week, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah.
in 2 weeks' time.
Kane even
Wish me
said,
luck. People
Kane
are going to be
said,
trying
yeah,
to kill
there
me.
you go. They're going to rip your head off. Kane said he fell
the
off World's Finest. Everybody that I talked to seems to have
After Kingdom Come. Yeah, me
fallen
too.
off stuff. Now, in that, you end up where Fear Monarch says, shepherd's
too.
pie. I actually do make it is the no carb or very low carb. It's a keto shepherd's pie kind of thing that I've made with whipped.
Boring.
I know, with mashed cauliflower instead of the potatoes. But it tastes pretty good.
I'm glad I'm not in
I
that
think you would
studio
I
with
think you would
Jim,
like
that's
it.
what I'm
I
saying.
think you would like
Woo-wee.
it still, but it's more of a keto version. But it's still good. I'm in. But that is it. Thanks, everybody. And thank you for joining me once again. Greg, tell everybody where they can go. We talked about your channel. You're doing more videos, so give everybody a shout out to where to go.
Wakizashi's Tea House. They dropped a couple of reviews: the Deadpool Batman and the Invincible Universe Battle Beast. I dropped a review of that.
I forgot that came
great,
out. I never know when
fun.
that comes out. I end up, getting there late, but I'm going to try to read that this
once
weekend.
a month. But I think, according to Fear Monarch, I'm not sure 100%, but it might just be 6 issues, and then they're going to take a hiatus,
yeah, you said
possibly.
That. Yeah, so we talked about this earlier when we were doing our Grant Morrison deal. And I said I'm probably going to wait. If it is on a hiatus, even I'll wait and I'll read it all once again. I think I only read 2 issues, so I do have some to catch up. But I did.
Just let me warn you, Jim. It's very entertaining, you know, for a comic. Sometimes comics aren't allowed to be that. You know what I mean?
No, they're not.
Remember?
You mean everybody's not just standing around talking and eating? That's what I always see. But there you go. And there it is. Brandon says the eating coffee ants. Yep, there was ants again in the coffee the other day. I was so mad. Also, Brandon mentioned earlier, because him and Fear Monarch were talking, but legit, if you crush an ant, it smells exactly like blue cheese, and it'll make you vomit. Don't do it. You'll never be able to unsmell or know it. It's awful. It's so bad I can't eat blue cheese now. So I think I was getting off of blue cheese. It's kind of disgusting anyway, but I used to like a blue cheeseburger.
Smelly feet, Jim.
Yeah,
smelly feet.
But,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and Joseph Wolf said he dropped off of World's Finest, but pretty much just because mainline books got better. And I think that it ended up where it was really fun, and it seemed like it had a spark at the beginning. Like you're like, oh man, this is what I want books to be like. And then it just kind of meandered and just didn't have that spark. I say when we talk about it, it didn't lose its way. It just ended up not being as fun. And like you said, there's better books and things that you can enjoy. So with all that, that's it. That is it. Now we're really going. Thanks, everybody, as always. And
Jim, before we finish, I might be going live later on, but it's going to be late night for American time.
Okay,
around, what time
check
will it
it
be?
out.
Probably midnight Eastern. So sorry about that for folks. But a bit of comic book news, a bit of Gray being positive, if you fancy that.
Cool. I might watch if I'm laying around. So maybe.
Yeah, you say that now.
Yeah, I try. I told you I'm going to bed, but I may wake up.
I know you go to bed.
I have a weird sleep schedule, and my dog is here getting all excited because we're going to go for a walk after.
Jim sleeps between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. That's all.
Yeah, usually there was a point, but I am going to bed a little better. But yeah. Oh, and my wife just sent me a message that she's getting off. She told me. I don't know why the turnpike. Okay, there we go. But thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you all later.
Later.
感動して感謝しました本当に大好きです私は普通の男ではありません私はもう本性の愛です私にからかわないでくださいそうしないとあなたは消えてしまいます私は普通の男ですでも私はあなたを殺しますだからそのまま受け取ってください足元に注意した方がいいよ準備をしてくださいフォローしないと大変なことになりますよ私に伝わらない私はあなたを殺します私は日本の愛ですあなたは警告されました
you.